Hello, Reds. Welcome to Late Night Live. I'm your host, Jack McIndoe. I'm joined by Darren Timson as well, making the debut on Anfield Index this evening. Darren, how are we, bud? Welcome to Anfield Index, mate.
I'm very well. Thank you very much for having me. How are you?
Well, I was just saying in the green room then, but yeah, another Liverpool performance that doesn't cast a lot of confidence again, mate. But yeah, just a lot of noise at the minute. Obviously, we are recording this on the 12th of Jan anyway. It's coming into this game. Obviously, Alonso getting sacked by Real Madrid. A lot of the people in the watch along were saying, obviously, linking him with a possible move in the future to Liverpool's management seat anyway, mate. But yeah, just I first you want to start that, and I don't know how you feel, mate. Were you very surprised by the way, and we'll speak about Liverpool's performance, mate, but were you surprised by the quality that Barnsley did possess and showcase this evening for you?
I'd say I was, but I think when you see these kind of teams in the FA Cup, I don't think this kind of performance is actually that surprising. I think especially when they go away to the likes of Liverpool or like other top six clubs, especially in the Premier League, that they want to make a bit of a name for themselves as they're on TV. They want to, I think they're going to showcase themselves a little bit, aren't they? And they're going to play within themselves. I mean, when you look at Barnsley in the League One table, they're not having a very good season, and I think they're actually on a bit of a poor run at the minute.
Yeah,
but I think you're just expecting a bit more from Liverpool, I guess.
Yeah, and that's been the story of Liverpool's season, mate, isn't it?
Yeah.
And I'm pretty sure you, buds, and all of us that we wanted, and we all, I certainly, mate. Did you want a performance? I think, Darren. Did you? I think that's one thing coming into not just a game against Barnsley, and as you alluded to their form recently, but we wanted a performance. I know certainly me and probably a majority of the Reds out there as well, Darren. We wanted to come into this game. We were coming in with obviously unbeaten again, still unbeaten in 9 games for Liverpool, which is great. But performance level for you, were you a bit surprised? We'll break down the game in terms of the first half and second half. But were you wanting a bit more of the scoreline indicates a battering in terms of 4-1, but as we'll analyse the game tonight, it was far from that. What was your?
Yeah, I think especially when you look at the lineup that we went with, that you expect maybe, some players to really perform and really kind of stand up. But I think, after those, like you said, we'll get into the first half in a second, but it wasn't the performance I think I was hoping for once I saw the lineup. I think this morning when I thought about the game, I was expecting maybe a few more youngsters, and I didn't really care how we were going to play because, when you've got the youngsters, it doesn't really always that matter too much. But I think when you've only got one youngster in the team, in the FA Cup against Barnsley, you're definitely expecting a bit more than I think we were given tonight.
Yeah, a very strong bench as well, bud, wasn't it? And chat, anyone watching or listening. Obviously, if anyone that is listening to this on the post-match, has been in work or whatnot, didn't catch the game, obviously you had Ali Becker on the bench as well, Ramsey, Kerkez, Endo, Ekatike, Viet, Canarse, Gravenberg, and Trainioni, the last 5 that did come on there in the second half. Obviously, we'll speak about Flo and Hugo, some of the positives really as well, mate. But in terms of just... I want to get your analysis, buds, on the first half from your point of view. We'll get straight to statistics as well. The first opening 45 minutes did see Liverpool have a dominating possession as expected coming into this tie anyway. 78% to Barnsley's 22%. Of course, Liverpool's XG for this game in the first half, 0.39 to Barnsley's 0.95. But that's very much caveated by the fantastic assist by Dominic Szoboszlai for Barnsley tonight, which we'll get to anyway. But yeah, just your analysis, Darren, on the first half from your point of view from Liverpool, if you want, mate.
Yeah, I thought in the first few minutes we started a bit sloppy. I think Barnsley had that header in the first minute where Gomez was caught sleeping, and then a few minutes later he was caught on the halfway line again, and Barnsley had that break, and I just thought, oh, here we go, Barnsley's going to get an opening goal and it's just going to be a bit of a slog. But then obviously Dom hits that incredible goal, And then I think the mood kind of changes a bit. I thought we kind of started to get into the game a little bit more. I thought Chiesa not fantastic, but I thought him and Frimpong kind of worked a little bit well. Rio was getting on the ball and trying to take players, and it started to look a little bit better. But then as the half went on a bit, it just didn't quite materialize in the way I think most of us probably were expecting.
Yeah, it's as you said, that was a big opportunity. I think they set themselves up really well, didn't they, Darren and Reds in the opening side, as Vic said there. Thought we were playing Barcelona tonight, and from his point, he's not happy with Arne Slot. But I'm pretty sure there'll be plenty of Liverpool fans out there not happy with that performance. I do think the scoreline does paint a very different picture for anyone that didn't watch the game or listen to the commentary or whatnot. But as we all say, we'll break down the game. But as you alluded to there, Darren, obviously Liverpool's fantastic strike from Dominic Szoboszlai on the 9th minute. He's been Mr. Liverpool so far this season, hasn't he?
Yeah, he's probably been our stand-up player, hasn't he? Probably Ekitike and maybe a couple of others have had shouts for the season, but apart from a couple of games, Dominic's just been outrageous. I think for us, he's put in a lot of effort. I think there was a few calls calling him a bit lazy for that goal he gave away, which was definitely true. But in terms of the balance of the season, he's undoubtedly been our best, which, to be fair, doesn't say a lot considering the players' performances of the season. But he's been really good.
Yeah, jack of all trades, played second half of that. Actually, second half anyway tonight. Right back again. Pretty sure if he had a stinting goal, they'd do an all right one, but we don't want to be saying that anyway. But a strike from range, obviously did get a couple of goals in the Cups last season from range. It's a hallmark of Dominic's game. Likes a strike from range, certainly. 36 minute, obviously, Darren, a goal in the form of Jeremy Frimpong off that right-hand channel, cutting in on his left foot. What's your analysis on that goal, bud?
Yeah, really good. I think that's what we've seen from Frimpong in the last few weeks, since he's come back into the team and he's been playing a lot higher. Obviously, he was right back tonight, but, we saw those drives against Spurs a few weeks ago. And yeah, he did the same tonight. It was really good. I thought he was going to pass it to Chiesa. I think that was just, inside the box. But then just the run in and then the shot off the left foot was, a really good goal. And two really good goals in that first half. I think pretty much all of the goals you scored tonight were actually really good.
Yeah, good ones. We'll speak about on the second half as well. But in terms of the shots on target, we'll analyse the first half chat as well. 9 total shots for Liverpool, 2 Barnsley's 5. Shots on target for either side, 3 apiece. Really, in your analysis, Darren, for me, when I was watching it on the watch long, I was very disappointed. Again, I want to caveat that with Barnsley were very good from a defensive low block. Frustrated Liverpool for large spells. We've indicated the 2 strikes in the opening 45 minutes being very, very good individual quality as well. How would you analyse that first opening 45? Were you wanting a bit more? Were you surprised by Liverpool's inability to open up a League One side? Let's be honest, it's Barnsley. They are 17th in League One. Liverpool were there, as you alluded to already, at the top of the show. Liverpool's attacking talent, quality on the show. Were you surprised that Liverpool weren't opening up an opposition like Barnsley? No disrespect to them, but given Liverpool's overall quality from a player sense, but not necessarily in terms of certain aspects of tonight's game, for me, I wanted a bit more of opening up an opposition team. Did you feel that in the first 45? How would you take about that?
Yeah, definitely. I didn't think we, apart from, the Dom score from range and Frimpong's little bit of brilliance, I don't think there was really many opportunities where we actually created a proper clear-cut opportunity to score a goal. I thought, when you've got Rio, he was trying to take on players, but there wasn't really anyone in the box, which is, again, really, you kind of find that a bit disappointing, especially when you've got the high-up Gakpo in there, who I thought, to be honest, had a pretty poor showing again tonight. Obviously, he's playing in that striker position, which, he's not really that used to. He normally plays off the left, as we know. But, yeah, he didn't really offer a lot up front, which I don't think helps. Like I said, Chiesa, I thought he had nice moments with Frimpong, but he probably didn't grab the game in the way he probably would have wanted to as well.
Why do you think that wasn't the case, Darren, tonight? Is it just a case of the midfield not linking, or the attacking line just not quite linking, or obviously Key's not playing much? But what would you put that down to for you?
Yeah, it's probably, you know, all three of them don't really play together, so that's definitely going to be a factor tonight. Obviously, when you're playing the likes of Barnsley, you'd want that individual quality to come off. Obviously, I always find Chiesa, he's always trying though, isn't he? You know, he's always trying to make something happen, but it doesn't always quite stick for him. But I would also put that down to, you know, maybe playing on the wrong side. He is a left winger himself as well. Doesn't really get a lot of rhythm. But again, you have to caveat that with saying he is playing a League One team, and maybe you just want that little bit more quality that I think, you know, a lot of Liverpool fans love him, and they believe that he's got that quality. It's just about showing that and then proving that to Arne Slot, who obviously has no problem with keeping me on the bench.
Yeah, that's a great point you've raised there, mate. And obviously the Plymouth Argyle game we had last season, wasn't it? I think that sticks out on Arne Slot's mind when he sees the bench every single week. You got to feel for Freddy, but I suppose when the opportunity would have liked, I think we all would have liked to have seen him getting a goal and assist. But great point you've raised there. But in terms of the communication, in terms of the fluidity, really, of Liverpool's attacking talent, it's always a big issue, really, when you are chopping and changing certain aspects, and I think we certainly did see that in the opening 45. But obviously, just having a little look for the audio listeners as well, just having a little look at the shot map in regards to respect to the shots on target, from Frimpong, obviously with his goal is 0.03 expected XG. Szoboszlai 0.02 expected XG. A tremendous strike as well. And then the other strike from range for Liverpool, that was on target in the opening 45, coming to form in the 4th minute from Dom, again, for another strike from range. But looking at that, Darren, as you alluded to, like, very compact, and this is where I will credit Barnsley in terms of doing what Sunderland, Leeds, many teams have done when they've come to Anfield and will continue to do. That's what, in the coming weeks, coming months as well, if Arne wants to just keep on trying getting better performance, getting better quality as well. But just looking at that, the amount of block shots that Liverpool failed to really, apart from the 3 shots on target, as you alluded to, not really just grabbing the game by the scruff of the neck and really creating any proper clear-cut opportunities. That's been, for me, I don't know how you feel, Darren, is Liverpool's kryptonite for the last 20 odd years, really, is low defensive sides. I remember Portsmouth, Barnsley tonight, the West Broms of the world as well, coming to Anfield, and it's going to be the story of Liverpool's, hopefully not the season, but they're just going to be doing, not just Barnsley, but a lot of clubs coming to Anfield this season, Darren, is... I personally feel, don't you feel, just to summarise the final thoughts in the first half, mates?
Yeah.
Did you want a bit more? Did you feel, from a tactical point of view, where did you feel Liverpool's weaknesses were in the opening 45 for you?
Yeah, like we said, I think it was that, you know, incisiveness in and around the box. You know, I think you are wanting a little bit more opportunities to be created and really kind of show the quality of the team that, you know, we see every week, and we believe that we've got in the players, and we just didn't really see that enough tonight, which definitely was disappointing. But like we said, we do have to credit Barnsley as well, though. I mean, they came to Anfield, they had a game plan, and it worked for them. You know, they had the block of 9 players, really, the 4 in midfield, and then pretty much the 5 at the back as well, and that does make it hard to play through it when it is that congested. And I do think when you've got the likes of Gakpo up front and Chiesa, and then you've got a 17-year-old on the other wing, it probably wasn't going to be as good as we were wanting to. And I definitely think we saw that in the second half when Ekitike and Wirtz came on. I think they opened up the game a lot more, and that's the kind of quality they've got compared to maybe the players that started tonight.
Yeah, so true. Big up there, Hustle, as well. I think you're shouting out me there, bud. Apologies, as I said. Probably I'm wrong as well. But yeah, Hustle, were you happy with the opening 45 minutes, bud? Let me know anyway, because I think there was many people in Anfield that weren't best too pleased with the overall performance in the opening 45 minutes. But as you said there, Dan, fair credit has to go to Barnsley. They come with a game plan very similar to a lot of Premier League sides. And will be the case for the coming weeks, coming months as well. Liverpool's kryptonite in terms of just real clear cut. It's all well and good looking at the shots on target, but analysing critically the overall 45 minutes. Wouldn't say it was great, all that possession, but it's been a similar story in recent weeks, recent months as well, where dominating possession doesn't necessarily mean that your overall quality and game control. But I know, chat, and just the head, like the heads gone moment from Dominic like Darren. We haven't mentioned it anyway, but it was I was laughing my head off. I know probably you were, and not everyone in the ground would have been laughing, but what happened there, mate? It was a bit of a madness, wasn't it?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't even think Dominic would be able to explain what he's doing there. Obviously, he's gone for that back heel, which, honestly, as on the replays as well, when I think even if he pulled it off, the Barnsley player is still fair enough behind him that I think if he got the back heel, that it's still going to the Barnsley player anyway, and I think it's going into the back of the net. I've no idea what he's doing. It's probably one of the most stupid things I've seen, considering the goal he scored. And I thought he was playing pretty well in that first half as well, but he capped it off in probably the most ridiculous way I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah, chat. Anyone on the repeat, let us know. I said in the watch along, mate. It's up there with heads gone moments of the season so far. You've got Ekatike taking his top off, getting that second yellow card, and then Dom's fantastic assist in front of the cop end. Sadly, it was for the opposition tonight, but one of them. But that's football. He, as we know, as you said, mate, he's tried to just back heel. He's just got stuck under them. But Dom, as long as that's not in the Champions League, mate, in the semi-final, then we're fine. We're sound. We're good. So in terms of the second half, we'll go into it, mate. It was where Liverpool eventually started to create a lot more better opportunities. The XG through the roof, and then the audio listeners watching tonight, Liverpool grew into the game eventually, but we got there. In terms of the data, really, 72% possession as expected. Again, a strong possession, keeping hold of the ball to Barnsley's 28% possession. Liverpool's XG 1.59 to Barnsley's 0.24 as well. Total shots for the Reds 12 to Barnsley's 4 shots on target. Total shots, sorry, that is 12 to 4. And shots on target, Liverpool 4 to Barnsley's 1. As well. In terms of obviously the goals in the second half, Floody and Vates, Ekatike as well. Just in terms of the second half, I wanted a player that I wanted to mention as well, though, Darren and chat. I was very, very impressed, and just quickly touching on was their number 19, Cleary. Just to quickly touch on there, was there any obviously for me, he's one of their standout performers. I think I was looking on before as well. He's 21 years old. I think not on a signing, but there'd be a lot of clubs in the Championship, in League One, that certainly would have been interested in terms of that style of performance, because it's one thing doing it in League One, but when you come to an environment like Anfield with the big pressure, big crowds as well, he certainly took his opportunity tonight, didn't he?
Yeah, he did. I thought, credit to all of the Barnsley players. I don't think any of them really put a foot wrong tonight. I think they can all come away really proud of that performance. Obviously, when you look at the scoreline, it's 4-1 away to Liverpool. But, I don't think that really reflects the whole game. We've mentioned that. And, just what I said at the start was, the likes of Cleary, like you said, 21 years of age, this was a moment for him to really show what he's capable of. And that's what these kind of clubs do. And that's why I said I wasn't surprised by the performance of Barnsley. I was, I expected that. You don't expect a team to come to Anfield just to roll over for Liverpool and, let Liverpool put the goals in. They're going to come and they're going to try and give it their all. And, the likes of him, the Gunathan, the ex-Liverpool academy player as well, I thought played pretty well. The defense, all played good. I think Cleary was definitely the standout, and I think probably, has his contention for the man of the match tonight. I think TNT maybe have given it to him through Ali McCoy, but yeah, he definitely had a good game.
Yeah, 100%, mate. Obviously, Liverpool got obviously the third and fourth goal. At the back end, so the last 16 minutes of the game, Flo getting a goal on the 84th minute as well. Liverpool made a triple substitution on the hour mark anyway. Ibu Kanate come on, Florian Wirtz come on, and Ekatike come on. Obviously, Rio and Gamua sadly looks like he might have picked up a little bit of an injury anyway. But again, another less option off the bench, Dan. But let's be honest, he wasn't getting many opportunities, was he, this season, apart from the Newcastle game, really, to shine.
Yeah, I mean, that's the disappointing thing, is, we're going into the next round of the FA Cup. Obviously, we're going to play Brighton next, but again, that would have been an opportunity for him to really show what he's capable of, and it is unfortunate for the young kid, because he definitely has a lot of talent, and I think he showed it tonight. He got past the Barnsley fullbacks pretty well. I thought he made some good runs into the box. Wasn't always going for him, but I think he definitely had a good performance tonight, and it just went, the ball just kind of ran away from him, and as he's reaching for it, it looks like he may have just pulled his hamstring, which hopefully he hasn't, but he was definitely holding it.
But mate, Darren and Reds, we won as well. Apologies, chat. We just got to analyse critically as well. You know me, chat. Try and get it from both angles as well. You can be positive and you can analyse critically, like we have done tonight as well, Reds. Do let us know your thoughts in the comment section below. We're made up, every single one of me, Darren, every single Red. We're into the next round, of course. Brighton as well, but we're analyse it sensibly as well. But for me, it's another. We'll speak about the third and the fourth goal as well, though, Darren, in terms of Florian Wirtz coming off the bench, getting his goal and assist by Hugo Ekatike. For me, when I analyse just the last 20 minutes of that game, mate, it was great to see with the substitutions. The more we are seeing of Hugo Ekatike and Florian Wirtz, there seems to be a bit more of a better partnership building there, mate. And main thing is, I want to be seeing is Hugo just staying fit.
Yeah, well, I think we saw that, from the start of the season. Actually, they just seem to have this instant connection between the two of them, which is fantastic to see, because that's hopefully going to be our forward line for many years to come. And I did feel when both came on, you definitely saw more movement in and around the box, which we weren't seeing in the first half. We were seeing more quality, and I think that goal from Wirtz pretty much encapsulated that. The flick from Ekatike into Wirtz, and then a really nice goal into the back of the net. Obviously, he probably missed what some people may think was a sitter only a few minutes before, but then he more than made up for it with a really nice goal.
Yeah, certainly. In terms of just looking at the second half statistics as well, though, chat, we see Phillips were there, obviously a shot on target in the second half. Anyway, but looking at the shot map here, Darren and Reds, much better. This is what we wanted to see, and we'll just analyse the first half. But second half, Liverpool certainly did get into a couple more better opportunities in terms of getting shots on target. You're looking at Gakpo, a shot on target as well. Rio, as Darren alluded to, Virgil van Dijk. That's superb. Dan, I don't know how you feel, mate, but on the watch along, I described that as one of the saves of the season so far. It's been a very long time since we're so used to seeing Ali pull off worldies. But Mamadashvili, oh my words, what a save that was to deny Virgil what would have been Liverpool's third goal on the night. Yeah,
and I think that I'm right in thinking that came just after he had a shot just on the edge of the box as well. That was saved. All of a sudden we kind of kicked into life around, what was it, the 55th minute or so. Had some really good moments. I think Gakpo had a little swivel in the box as well, but then Virgil just looked like it was going in for the split second, and then obviously with the save. But yeah, I thought that's when we started to get a little bit better. But then just after that, I thought Barnsley started getting some real confidence, and then we kind of just sat back again. And it was that's kind of how the game went for me. You just wanted that consistent period of play from us where we just really dominated and really got on top of Barnsley, but it never really happened. And then obviously when the third goal goes in, that's kind of it for Barnsley, even though they still had their moments though.
Yeah, certainly did, mate. And does that concern you if a club No disrespect to Barnsley. Sorry if any Barnsley fans. Well done. A spirited effort, really, as well. But in terms of going into the future, when you're analysing it, and certainly the Liverpool analysts as well will be breaking down the game. But I say I'm not surprised. Just to caveat that with, in terms of, but you're looking at the momentum graph, but it's those key moments, the chances that Liverpool, for me, that are presenting teams and opposition teams at Anfield, and even when we go away from home as well, the chances, you look at the momentum graph as well for any audio listeners as well. First 4 minutes in the game, Barnsley did have the opportunity, and looking at the momentum graph, it was a bit of a weird one. It was a goal against the run of momentum, especially in the opening 45 minutes, where Liverpool dominating the possession. But for me, I just find it a bit mad from a defensive structure point of view, where we're watching this Liverpool side, and it's just, do you put it, certainly for me, I put that down to just a lack of concentration, really, mate. But it's just a bit frustrating when, not just Barnsley, but when you analyse the last couple of weeks as well, just the freeing up of opposition opportunities. It's a bit too easy for my liking in certain aspects for me. I don't know how you feel on that one.
Yeah, I'd say what we saw tonight hasn't been anything different from what we've seen from clubs in the Premier League against Liverpool. You know, you mentioned Sunderland there, Leeds as well. They've all, you know, we've gone on a long unbeaten run, but teams that have caused us problems. And I think tonight again, Barnsley showed how teams got through us pretty easily. Cleary was pretty good on that left hand side. He got down quite easily as well. And it's a concern in the way that it's not being fixed, and it's not. It happened again tonight, where you're not wanting it to happen. You're wanting a more clinical, dominant display, where Barnsley don't really get the opportunities. But I mean, like we've said though, Barnsley, they put themselves there. They went for it tonight, and I think, and I
think
Gomez
against a better
actually.
Yes, carry on there, mate. Sorry. I was just going to say, against a better opposition as well, like with better quality that we've seen already this season, that has happened as well, haven't it?
Yeah, it did. Obviously, it against Arsenal, we showed the defensive capabilities that this team has. So it is in there. I do wonder if maybe it was a case of concentration tonight, like you've alluded to. I think Dom had that. Gomez had that a few times tonight. I think a few other players as well. Maybe just taking the game a little bit easier, which sometimes does happen when you are playing a League One side, and you know you can get away with it. Sometimes you don't. I don't say we got away with it tonight. I think we deserved the win, pretty obviously. But sometimes it does go against you, and that's always the fear, I think.
Yeah. What were you going to say about Gomez? Sorry, mate, before I interrupted you. So apologies on that. We don't mention something about Gomez.
Yeah, I thought that he was another player that probably didn't take the opportunity tonight. He was one of those where I thought maybe the concentration levels weren't always there, especially in that first half. I thought, you know, when you look at him and Chiesa, who are definitely on that periphery, and I think we've just, you know, with Conor Bradley, the news of him being up for the rest of the season now, that wasn't great from Gomez, but again, it was his first game back from injury, which you can put that down to as well.
Yeah, all good, mate. So Reds, yes, into the next round of the FA Cup as well. Apologies there, chat. You've absolutely been popping off in the comments. Apologies, I haven't read every single one of them out. But if you do send a super chat, Reds, not just on the late night lives, but in general, if you are watching or listening to it, especially watching the podcast on YouTube, send a super chat, go straight to the hosts as well, and get your comments read out straight away anyway. In terms of any other players that we haven't mentioned tonight, Darren, from your point of view, how was that really impressed you in terms of the overall picture? Again, another opportunity for Frimpong to get on the score sheet. We mentioned obviously a couple of assists in recent weeks. He seems to be growing in confidence, but from your point of view, when you're analysing the overall picture from Liverpool, what was the positives really to take away from tonight? From, of course, the next round of the FA Cup is big with a home tie against Brighton, but just in terms of your analysis on the game, your takeaways from the end of the game as well for you.
Yeah, I thought go through the players. I thought Mabadashvili was pretty decent. He didn't really have a lot to do, but I thought he was pretty assured. He got a little bit of criticism. I remember in the last few months when obviously Ali was out, and I thought for a player who, doesn't play because he's the goalkeeper. I thought he was pretty decent. I thought Ekitike and Flo, when they came on, they looked pretty good. I thought Frimpong, like you mentioned, he's a real outlet on that right-hand side, and Mo will obviously be gone for another week or so if he hopefully gets to the AFCON final. So it'll be interesting to see what Arne does on that right-hand side with Frimpong, because he's really dangerous as that winger, but maybe a little bit suspect defensively. We'll see how that goes. I thought Szoboszlai had a good game, apart from the couple moments of stupidity. Obviously, he nearly gave away the penalty as well, but it probably looked like he got a touch on the ball, so maybe not. Jones, I thought, had a good game as well. It was a pretty Curtis Jones performance, actually. He kept the ball moving really well.
Yeah, McAllister getting 2 assists. I didn't even obviously clock on the watch long. It happens that quick anyway, mate. But Alexis McAllister, obviously Macca. I don't know. For me, like, he's had a bit of a weird season, really. It's not just been Macca. I think that a lot of the Liverpool players are very inconsistent as well. He's coming for some criticism from certain quarters of Liverpool's fan base in terms of the Macca that we seen last season as well. I think we are seeing a bit more of a different variation of Alexis. We are in certain other players as well in terms of the performance level, mate. But again, you've got to caveat that with the performance in terms of when you analyse it, break it down game with the opposition as well. But I think getting 2 assists for McAllister, much better for me in terms of the impact and contributing in terms of, I don't know how you feel, Dan, and I want to be seeing that a bit more from him in terms of impacting regardless of the opposition. You want to be seeing him getting assists, getting goals like he did at Brighton in terms of playing that bit more advanced. Of course, tonight playing a bit more defensively, a bit more in that number 6 position, a bit more onus in terms of him protecting the back line as well. But just in terms of your general analysis in terms of his game so far tonight, mate, in terms of McAllister and just going forward as well, where do you foresee his coming weeks, coming months of his development as growing into the season as well?
Yeah, I mean, he had a good game against Arsenal, didn't we? Didn't he? And we wanted to see that carry on tonight. You mentioned the 2 assists, but they're probably the 2 funniest assists he'll get all season, because one's just a 2-yard pass to Dominic Szoboszlai, and then the other one is to Frimpong, who also runs into the box. He gets the assist, but he didn't really do a whole lot for them.
Technically not assist.
I thought, he comes away with the start anyway, which is it's funny, obviously, because Florian Wirtz had a lot of criticism during the season for not having assists when he was putting in decent performances. But anyway, it is what it is. Yeah, I thought he was all right. I thought Jones probably of the 3 had the best performance. And if you go maybe in the coming weeks, then maybe Jones is the one starting there. But Arne does really trust McAllister as well, and he put in a good performance from Arsenal, and that's where I'm building it from. I don't really take too much of it as performance tonight, because I want to see him back up what he did against Arsenal in the coming weeks.
Yeah, 100%, mate. As we say, Reds, we're happy. We're made up, of course. But in terms of Liverpool growing in confidence, growing in belief as well, we want to be seeing the gradual improvements week upon week, regardless, as we said. Barnsley tonight, it's been Leeds, it's been Sunderland over the last couple of weeks. Some of the performances, I think, as obviously Hustle's alluded to there, 11 unbeaten. Well done. That's great. Now let's make those draws into wins and hopefully make 10 in the future, make it 9 games, 10 games with victories as well. But the aspirations, the big aspirations of Liverpool of where we want to be getting back to, Darren. Of course, this season, I don't know how you feel, has been very disappointing in terms of the performance level, of course. In terms of especially the Premier League, of course, Champions League, we can certainly grow into, mate. But in terms of your final, if you want to give a shout out to your man in the match, if you had to pick one as well, and just to conclude your analysis, mate, in terms of going into the coming week, it's going to be another low block against Burnley in a couple of days' time, where the onus is going to be on Liverpool to break down an opposition. It's up to them. And but just your general closing analysis on the game tonight, mate.
Yeah, well, you mentioned Burnley there, and tonight was probably good practice for that, I suppose. We saw what Florian Wirtz and Ekitike can do, so we've got to hope that they're going to be fit enough to start that game, because I think they're going to be needed. In terms of the man of the match, probably probably Curtis Jones for Liverpool. In terms of the game, I actually was really impressed with Cleary. So from Barnsley, and he'd probably be the man of the match from the game. But Curtis Jones probably Liverpool's best player tonight.
Yeah. So Reds, I concur, mate. Yeah, I was made up with the impact in which Ekatike made, but as Dom being Dom, I think the players are being a bit just looking at him going, Dom, just give it a death slap. Just drop a bit of a clanger, but hopefully he doesn't. I think his teammates and certainly Arne Slot will be made up with Dom's performance level, and certainly, as you alluded to there tonight, Darren, is just positives to take away from tonight's game as well. We've spoken about some of the negatives as well, Reds, but of course there'll be plenty of shows on the horizon. Of course, with the big news of Xabi Alonso, there'll be every single press conference will be filled with talk of Alonso with this and that and that. But that's another show for another night, mate. But Darren, just shout out your socials as well, mate. Obviously making your debut on the channel this evening. Where can everyone find you? And nice one, and you've done a cracking job on your first appearance on the Anfield Index. Well done, lad.
Well, thank you. Hopefully, people haven't found me too negative tonight. I don't want to be, obviously. I'm on Twitter.
Don't worry, Darren.
03.
What was that? Your handle there? Sorry, mate.
Yeah, I'm on Twitter. If you want to see me just rant, I suppose. Timson 03. But yeah, thank you for having me on. I've enjoyed it.
You're welcome, mate. And yeah, as I said, mate, you haven't been negative, but don't be worrying at all. It's I might have certainly queued up some of the questions. I've only been on Anfield Index a year, mate. But as I said, mate, it's all about opportunities on Anfield Index and everyone that's provided the opportunities. You're doing well, mate. And hopefully, Lewis, if you are watching or listening, mate, hopefully everything is okay, bud. But Lewis will be back again midweek. And obviously, I'm pretty sure he'll be on with Darren on a couple of occasions so far this season as well. But Reds and Darren, thank you for your time, buds, and thank you everyone for watching or listening. If it's the first time tuning in tonight to Anfield Index, make sure you hit that subscribe button down below as well, Reds. We've got Media Matters tomorrow with Dave Davis and a lot of shows on the horizon. We've got the post-match Raw getting recorded as we are speaking this evening as well. So plenty of content to get stuck into across the board on Anfield Index. If you want to check out more and you want to delve more into and an analytical side as well, the articles, going beyond the podcast as well, head over to AnfieldIndex.com for all the latest Liverpool news, transfer news, and everything, all things Liverpool. That is, of course, AnfieldIndex.com. And if you want to become an Anfield Index Pro member and get involved with even more bigger, greater catalogue of great LFC content as well behind the paywall, head over to Anfield Index. If you subscribe, it's £7.99. If you pay monthly, it comes in at £59.99 a year. And that comes in just as £4.99, just as little as a coffee anyway. But I'll tell you what, Reds, you're very spoiled anyway. There's so much content. And tomorrow will be chock-a-blocker as well. We got, obviously, if you've missed the great interview Dave Davis has done with, of course, Lewis Steele, Daily Mail's correspondent for Liverpool, getting a journalistic insight as well. Check that out. It's on the YouTube side as well. It's on the audio podcast as well. So want to delve into that. Get involved, Reds. A fantastic interview from Dave as always. But Reds, Darren, thank you for your time, mate. It's been an absolute pleasure. Thank you for joining me as well, Reds. But look after yourself, Reds. We will look forward to the Burnley game, and hopefully we can break down that park of the bus in a couple of days' time. But we'll cross that bridge when we come to it. But Darren, thank you for your time, buds. And Reds, thank you as always. Have a lovely rest of your weekend as well, Reds.